Welcome to my channel BBC Rare Coins. Did you know that one of the most iconic coins in American history is also the smallest in value? Moneybag, that's right. Today we're diving into the fascinating story behind the Lincoln 1-cent penny. Let's start. Top 1. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered, could this be worth a fortune? Most of us don't think twice about pennies and quarters. We toss them in jars, drop them under car seats, or let them jingle at the bottom of a purse. But what if I told you that one of those humble coins could be worth tens of thousands of dollars? What if that 1-cent coin you almost didn't pick up from the sidewalk is actually one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history? Today, we're going deep into the world of rare American coins, specifically the 2009 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and a U.S. quarter dollar that has collectors paying up to $60,000 for a single piece. Let's start with the penny. In 2009. The U.S. Mint released a special series of Lincoln pennies to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself, first minted in 1909. But these weren't just your everyday pocket change. The 2009 Lincoln penny came in 4 different reverse designs, each telling a chapter of Lincoln's life, from his humble beginnings in Kentucky to his early career in Indiana, his professional life in Illinois, and finally, his presidency in Washington, D.C. These designs weren't just artistic. They became the cornerstone of a modern numismatic treasure hunt. Point 1 version in particular, the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial penny in copperproof, minted in San Francisco, is now one of the most sought-after modern pennies. Unlike regular zinc-based pennies, these were struck in 95% copper, just like the original 1909 cent. If found in perfect proof condition, uncirculated and untouched, these coins can fetch hundreds, and in some cases, thousands of dollars, especially if they're graded PR70, the highest possible grade. But it doesn't end there. Some 2009 pennies have minting errors, like double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws. These errors send their value soaring. Collectors pay big money for rare mistakes, because in the world of coins, imperfections often mean perfection in value. Now, let's talk about the heavyweight champion of modern pocket change, the rare U.S. quarter dollar that sold for up to $60,000. This isn't a myth. There are real quarters out there, coins that look just like any other 25-cent piece, that are hiding massive value. Among the rarest is a special version of the 2004 Wisconsin State quarter, known for its infamous extra leaf variety. During minting, an extra corn leaf appeared on the left side of the corn stalk on the reverse side of the coin. There are 2 variations, high leaf and low leaf, and both are extremely rare. It's believed that these were caused either by an intentional act by a mint employee or a unique die break. Only a handful of these quarters were discovered in circulation, and the frenzy among collectors drove the price into the tens of thousands. If you happen to find one of these rare quarters in near mint condition, you could be sitting on a $50,000 to $60,000 coin. And that's not the only quarter worth big bucks. There are also the 2005 Kansas in God We Rust error quarters, where a grease-filled die caused the T in trust to disappear. Even though that coin isn't as rare, it still grabs the attention of collectors who pay hundreds, sometimes thousands, for a clean version of the error. These coins aren't just mistakes. They're history frozen in metal. Every flaw, every oddity, every misprint tells a story about how something so small can slip through the cracks and become one of the rarest treasures in circulation. The next time you check your pocket, don't underestimate the change rattling around. That penny could be a 2009 copperproof. That quarter could have an extra leaf, a missing letter, or some odd minting quirk that turns it into a 5-figure prize. That we live in a world where a coin made for 1 cent can be worth a small fortune. All you have to do is look closely. Top 2. In today's video, we're exploring 2 unbelievable stories in U.S. coin history. A 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny that has stunned collectors with its rarity and value, and a rare U.S. quarter dollar that has fetched up to $37,000 at auction. These aren't coins locked away in museums. They've been found in ordinary change, hiding in plain sight. And if you know what to look for, you just might uncover one yourself. Let's start with the 1973 Lincoln cent. At first glance, the 1973 penny doesn't look like anything special. It features the same iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, just like every other penny minted between 1959 and 2008. But here's the twist. Not all 1973 pennies are created equal. Most 1973 pennies were struck in copper-plated zinc, and billions were made. However, a few extremely rare versions were struck in bronze planchets intended for foreign coins or leftover from earlier years. These wrong planchet errors are incredibly rare and highly valuable. If a 1973 penny was accidentally struck using the wrong metal, it could weigh slightly more or less than a standard cent, and that tiny detail could make it worth thousands. Even more mysterious are the extremely rare 1973 S-proof pennies that have been graded as virtually perfect by coin grading services. A flawless proof coin with no scratches, spots, or where can command premium prices, sometimes in the five-figure range. And if there's a unique minting error, such as a double die obverse, off-center strike, or a clipped planchet, the value skyrockets. One of the rarest known 1973 Lincoln pennies sold for an eye-popping amount due to a combination of condition, rarity, and minting mistake. When rarity meets perfection, collectors open their wallets, and the bidding doesn't stop until the price reaches astonishing heights. Now let's talk about the heavyweight of modern quarters, a U.S. quarter dollar that's been known to sell for as much as $37,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 25-cent piece, worth over $37,000. This quarter wasn't made of gold, nor was it part of a commemorative set. It was an ordinary-looking coin with an extraordinary secret. A minting error so rare that collectors went into a frenzy. One of the most valuable types is the off-metal error quarter, struck on a planchet mint for a different denomination, like a nickel, dime, or even a foreign coin. These errors are the result of an accidental mix-up at the U.S. Mint, and they almost never make it into circulation. But when they do, they're nearly impossible to spot unless you know what you're looking for. Another ultra-rare version comes from a double die error, where the die strikes the coin slightly off position twice, creating a ghost-like doubling effect on the date, motto, or lettering. A 2000s-era quarter with a severe double die and near-perfect condition has been known to fetch tens of thousands of dollars. One of them recently commanding a staggering $37,000 at auction due to its rarity and pristine condition. What makes these coins so valuable isn't just the error, it's the rarity of the combination. A coin with an error, in great condition, from a low mintage year? That's the numismatic jackpot. And it's not just about metal. It's about history, chance, and survival. Most error coins are caught and destroyed. The few that escape become legends in the collecting world. How do you know if you have one? Check your change. Look at the details, especially the date, the mint mark, the weight, and any signs of doubling, misalignment, or odd coloration. If it looks strange, it just might be worth a second look. The 1973 Lincoln penny and the rare $37,000 quarter are living proof that incredible value can be hidden in the most ordinary places. Every coin has a story, and some of those stories are worth a fortune. Top 3. Have you ever held a penny or quarter and thought, this is just spare change? Well, think again, because hidden in your pocket, purse, or coin jar might be a small piece of metal worth tens of thousands of dollars. In this video, we're diving into two of the most jaw-dropping stories in modern American coin collecting. The legendary and ultra-valuable 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and a rare U.S. quarter dollar that has stunned collectors with sales as high as $52,000. These coins may look like everyday change, but their stories and their value are anything but ordinary. Let's start with the 1975 Lincoln cent. On the surface, the 1975 penny looks just like any other. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Billions were minted that year, more than 5 billion, to be exact. So how could one be worth thousands? It all comes down to rare errors, unique conditions, and secret versions of the coin that were never meant to exist. Some of the most valuable 1975 pennies are those struck with mint errors, accidental flaws that occurred during production. One of the most coveted? The double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile or the lettering appears doubled due to a misalignment in the die. When this happens and the coin is in near-perfect condition, the value skyrockets. These aren't just minor curiosities, they're major discoveries. Some of these error coins have sold for five figures, especially when authenticated and graded as MS-67 or higher by professional grading services. Another variation is the 1975 penny struck on a foreign planchet. That means the coin was accidentally struck on a blank intended for a different country or denomination. These off-metal errors are incredibly rare. If you come across a 1975 penny that's unusually light or heavy, with strange color or thickness, it could be one of these. Some have sold for over $10,000, depending on the metal, the error, and the coin's overall condition. But perhaps the most shocking finds are proof pennies from 1975 that were never meant to circulate. These high-detail coins, originally created just for collectors, sometimes slip out of the mint under mysterious circumstances. If found in flawless condition, and especially if struck with any kind of error, their value becomes almost untouchable. The truth is, while most 1975 pennies are worth a cent, a rare few are worth thousands. And the only thing separating them is a tiny detail missed by billions of others. You could be holding one right now and never even know it. But now let's switch gears and talk about the king of the quarters, a US quarter dollar so rare and valuable. It sold for a jaw-dropping $52,000. If this isn't a coin from the 1800s. It's not made of gold. It looks like a regular quarter, but it hides a massive secret point. One of the most valuable types of quarters are those with dramatic minting errors. And in this case, we're talking about a quarter from the early 2000s with a combination of two things: a wrong planchet strike and perfect condition. Some of these quarters were mistakenly struck on planchets meant for foreign coins, nickels, or even experimental blanks. When a US quarter is struck on the wrong metal, especially if it's lighter or heavier than normal, and it somehow makes it out into circulation, it becomes a true treasure. Add in an error like missing clad layers, a double strike, or a die cap, and the price climbs even higher. But one particular quarter shocked the collecting world. It had a nearly perfect strike, a visible error that made it one of a kind, and it was certified by a top grading service as being in superb, uncirculated condition. The result? It sold at auction for an unbelievable $52,000. Imagine holding a quarter, a coin worth 25 cents, that turns out to be worth more than a luxury car, more than a year's salary, more than a down payment on a house. And the best part? These coins weren't minted for the rich. They weren't sold in sealed sets. They were accidents, and they slipped into the real world, into pockets, drawers, wallets, vending machines, and coin rolls. You could have one right now and not even know it.so. What should you look for? With pennies, check for doubling on the text, odd coloration, incorrect weight, or missing design details. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, and any odd textures or edges. With quarters, check for weight, color, edges, missing or doubled text, and even how the coin sounds when you drop it. If anything seems off, don't spend it. You might be holding a $52,000 fortune. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the most valuable treasures aren't locked behind glass. They're hiding in plain sight. All it takes is a keen eye, a little curiosity, and a second look at the change you almost didn't care about. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into America's most valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin discoveries, and turn on notifications so you never miss a hidden treasure. Who knows? The next time you open your wallet, you might be holding gold disguised as copper and silver. Top 4. Imagine this. You're digging through your old change jar, looking for a coin to complete a dollar. You pick up a dusty old penny and a quarter. Ordinary, right? But what if I told you that one of those coins could be worth $63,000? That's right. Today we're exploring the untold story of two coins that could change your life. The legendary 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny and a rare US quarter dollar that has shocked the coin collecting world by selling for as much as $63,000. Now let's begin with the unassuming penny from 1978. On the surface, the 1978 Lincoln cent is just another common coin. Over 5.5 billion were minted that year. You've probably seen one, spent one, or maybe even thrown one in a fountain. But what most people don't know is that hidden among those billions are a tiny number of pennies that are incredibly rare and worth a fortune. These valuable 1978 pennies are not ordinary. What makes them special are minting errors, unusual compositions, and extremely high-grade conditions that elevate their worth to thousands of dollars. But let's talk about minting errors first. Some of the most valuable 1978 Lincoln cents are those with a double die obverse, where Lincoln's face, the motto "In God We Trust," or the word liberty appeared doubled because of a misaligned or faulty die during production. These coins are instantly recognizable to experts and highly sought after by collectors. When one of these double die errors is found in mint state, meaning it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, it can easily fetch thousands of dollars at auction. Another major factor in the value of the 1978 penny is whether it was struck on the wrong planchet, a blank mint for a different coin or country. A 1978 Lincoln cent mistakenly struck on a dime or foreign planchet creates a coin that weighs less or appears thinner or silver-colored. These errors are extremely rare and can sell for several thousands depending on the error type and coin grade. But it doesn't end there. There are proof-like business strike pennies from 1978. Coins that were struck with such sharp detail and smooth surfaces that they almost look like proof coins, but they were made for circulation. These high-detail pieces, especially when professionally graded as MS-68 or higher, can be nearly impossible to find and are known to bring in massive collector bids. And now, let's move to the star of today's story, the rare U.S. quarter dollar that sold for a staggering $63,000. This isn't a coin from the 1700s or something made of precious metal. It looks like any other quarter you might use to pay for parking. But it's not the coin's face value that makes it so special. It's the rare minting error, the condition, and the fact that it's a true one-of-a-kind piece. Among the rarest and most valuable quarters are those with major strike errors, like a quarter struck on the wrong metal, such as a planchet mint for a penny, nickel, or even a foreign coin. These off-metal errors are rare enough, but when they occur on a coin with near-perfect surfaces and flawless detail, collectors are willing to pay enormous sums to own them. Another possibility is a quarter struck with a dramatic die cap error, where the die presses into the coin multiple times in the wrong position, creating a warped, ghost-like appearance with extreme distortion. These mistakes are so dramatic and so rare that when one was discovered in flawless condition, it sold at auction for over $60,000. There are also legendary double-struck quarters, where the coin is struck twice in separate positions, sometimes with an almost full rotation between strikes. Combine that with a mint state condition and the price goes through the roof. And if the error occurred at a mint like Denver or San Francisco, where mintages are sometimes lower or errors are rarer, the value can be even higher. Some of these rare 2000s-era quarter errors in perfect condition have reached up to $63,000, stunning even the most experienced coin dealers. Oh, how do you know if you've got one? For the 1978 Lincoln penny, check for doubling on the lettering, unusual weight or thickness, or any off-center or incomplete design features. If something looks off, don't dismiss it. Get it checked. If it's in crisp condition, no scratches, no signs of circulation, it might be worth hundreds or thousands. For that rare quarter. Watch for silver-colored coins that don't quite look right, unusual textures, partial designs, doubled images, or missing edges. And weigh the coin if you can. Even a slight variation from standard weight could signal a major error, and possibly a life-changing discovery. The beauty of these coins is that they're hidden in plain sight. They weren't locked away in collector cases or vaults. They were born in the chaos of the U.S. Mint's production lines, escaped unnoticed, and made their way into pockets, drawers, and change jars. Just like yours. The next time you think a penny is just a penny, or a quarter is just worth 25 cents, think again. Because among the billions of ordinary coins, there are a few that are absolutely extraordinary. Top 5. You've seen pennies. You've used quarters. But what if I told you that some of these ordinary coins you've probably passed over 100 times, are actually worth tens of thousands of dollars? In this video, we're uncovering the incredible story of two coins that have shocked the world of numismatics. The legendary 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and a rare U.S. quarter dollar that has reached an astonishing $68,000 in collector circles. These aren't coins locked away in museums. They've been found in pocket change, old jars, inherited collections, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. And one of them could be yours. Let's start with the 1982 Lincoln penny, One of the most talked about and mysterious coins in modern U.S. history. At first glance, the 1982 penny looks completely ordinary. It features Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But behind this simple design is one of the most complex and valuable stories in U.S. coinage. Here's what makes the 1982 penny so special. It was the year the U.S. Mint changed the composition of the coin. Up until 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper, 95% copper, to be exact. But rising metal costs forced the mint to switch to a cheaper material, a zinc core with a thin copper coating. This mid-year change meant that both copper and zinc pennies were minted in 1982, along with multiple design varieties. There are 7 known types of 1982 pennies: large date copper, large date zinc, small date copper, small date zinc, and a few rare transitional errors. But here's where it gets interesting. In 1982, no pennies were officially supposed to be struck in bronze, the earlier copper alloy, at the Denver Mint with a small date. But one was the 1982 D small date bronze penny was discovered years later, weighing in at 3.1 grams instead of the 2.5 grams of zinc pennies. This coin is not only a transitional error, but a one-of-a-kind treasure. Experts confirmed its authenticity. It shocked the collecting world. And when it finally went to auction, it commanded a 5-figure price tag, with rumors that offers went well above $18,000 to $20,000 and potentially much higher today. But that's just one variation. Other 1982 pennies with rare errors, like double dies, off-metal strikes, or unlisted combinations of date and composition, have also sold for thousands. And if you have one in mint condition, untouched and uncirculated, you could be holding a penny that's worth more than gold. Now, let's talk about a coin that defies logic, a U.S. quarter dollar that sold for an eye-watering $68,000. Yes, a quarter, a simple 25-cent piece, turned into a life-changing payday. This quarter isn't old. It's not gold or silver. It's just a rare combination of flaw and perfection that makes collectors lose their minds. Among the most valuable are error quarters, and the one we're talking about today is a double-strike mint error with an off-metal planchet, found in nearly perfect uncirculated condition. This specific quarter was struck twice, with the second strike dramatically off-center, creating a visually stunning, completely unique coin. To make it even more rare, it was struck on the wrong metal, likely a leftover blank from a foreign coin or another denomination. These kinds of errors are so rare, they're often referred to as unicorns in the collecting world. Only a handful of these coins have ever been authenticated. And when one surfaced, graded by a top-tier service as MS or mint state, the bidding war was instant. The final price? $68,000 for a coin that was worth just 25 cents on paper. Why do these coins fetch such high prices? Because they combine rarity, historical significance, eye appeal, and the element of mystery. These are not coins anyone can find easily. They slipped through the cracks, beat the odds, and became the crown jewels of U.S. pocket change.so. How do you know if you have one? For the 1982 penny, start with the weight. Copper pennies weigh 3.1 grams, while zinc ones weigh 2.5 grams. Use a digital scale, it matters. Then look at the date style. Is it a small date or large date? If you find a 1982 D small date that weighs 3.1 grams, congratulations. You might be holding one of the rarest Lincoln cents ever made. As for the quarter, check for anything unusual, double designs, off-center strikes, strange metal colors, or anything that looks out of the ordinary. Weigh it. Examine the edges. If it looks wrong, it might be worth a lot more than right. The truth is, these coins prove that treasure doesn't always come in treasure chests. Sometimes it comes in your change tray, your glove box, or the back of an old drawer. Every coin has a story, but only a few are legends. Thanks for watching. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden value in everyday coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We bring you the rarest, most valuable coins in U.S. history, and who knows, the next video might feature a coin you have. Until next time, keep your eyes open, check your change, because the next fortune could be right in your hand.